Hello, all sentient beings, and welcome to the Transmissions Podcast, where we talk all Hasbro, Takara, and third-party Transformers! On this episode, we marvel at Mech Fans Toys Legends scaled hot rod figures. Mechanic Studios shows us what the Insecticons would look like if they transformed into a steam engine. And new Bishoujo statues transform Optimus Prime and Megatron into beautiful ladies. Today is Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022, and this is episode 474 of Transmissions. Welcome to Transmissions, the podcast that just can't seem to stop talking about trains. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
Creator, producer, and star of Empire of Rust, editor Mike.
I choose you.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Chugga chugga, motherfuckers.
Keep it PG, Daryl.
We haven't really, used the full spectrum of our rating for a while.
We haven't earned the explicit tag in a long time.
No, I had to. Sorry, any children out there that are listening to this, but really. Let's talk Transformers.
Oh, the PG-13 movies, you're allowed one F-bomb, so that's your one, Daryl.
Okay.
Laying down the law. Whew.
Yeah. Damn.
As always, we start the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you guys so much for continuing to help us out. And we really appreciate it because it just keeps us going, helps keep our hosting fees paid and, all the stuff we need to keep the show running and smoothly and getting out to you. If you'd like to become a Donatron, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. That's where you can sign up. One of the perks of being a Donatron is that you get access to the bonus early uncut episodes of our Transformers Live Play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. And this week, we have Empire of Rust episode 70, The Wild Strikes Back Again. This just came out on Monday, but this is the version exclusive to our Donatron. So if you are a Donatron, you'll have access to that through the Patreon page. Should already be in your feed. Came out on Monday, February 21st. And if you are listening to Empire of Rust, the regular episodes, this episode 70 will be out on Monday, February 28th. So you've just got another week to wait, but all our Donatrons get it early. So if you signed up right now, you could be listening immediately. And Empire of Rust is definitely worth listening to.
Damn
right,
straight
Mike?
it is. Yeah. That's what I have to say. You may notice all of the Star Wars references in the episode titles for the last couple of weeks. I'm loving it.
Oh, I hadn't noticed that.
Well, it's a good thing I was here to point it out.
Yeah, I see future episode titles are continuing that theme for a little while, so there's gonna be a theme going on for the next couple of months, I guess.
Yeah, as I was writing up all of the story arcs for it, I kind of realized, like, hey, I want all this to kind of read together as a true story arc. So the last, the opening arc of this season had Mortillus's Advocate, 12 Angry Bots. You can kind of see the theme on that one. And I went with the Star Wars theme on this one. You know what? I haven't regretted it since.
And our intrepid heroes are infiltrating an abandoned Decepticon base right now. So last episode they got in, and I guess this episode we'll see how things go and whether Wildstrike will get back some of his missing memories and find out what happened to him a couple thousand years ago. So gotta listen to find out.
Only time will tell.
All right, well, let's jump into our show all about Transformers toys. And, of course, we'll start off with toy news.
All right, and I'm going to start off this week by talking about a train. And it is from Mechanic Studios, and it is their Heart of Steel Insecticons. And we are looking at some concept designs based on art by Guido Guidi for the Heart of Steel comics from a number of years ago now. Wow, that's been a while. But these are the Insecticons combined into a single train car. It's wild. We really don't have any kind of images of the individual Insecticons in their robot modes, but seeing them in this train car is pretty wild. You can kind of pick out, we've got Scrapnel in the Shrapnel. I think he was Shrapnel, and then Scrapnel. I can't remember what they're calling him now. I think it went back to Shrapnel, but he's in the front with the mandrels sticking out of the front of the train, and then it's anyone's guess where the other two are, because it blends pretty well. But it's pretty cool. I'm kind of digging this. The Hearts of Steel designs are, they're cool. They're definitely not at the top of anyone's real list as far as, stuff that you want to, buy toys for, but they're just kind of, pardon the pun, chugging along in the fandom here, because every now and then we'll get something based on Hearts of Steel, and it's still pretty cool, because I think we got that Bumblebee one from a couple years back, which then ended up making it into the comics, which was cool. And it was, what did they call him? They didn't call him Bumblebee because he was already in the comics. They gave him some other name, right, Charles? What was he?
I think that was Centurion.
That was Centurion, right? Good job.
By the way,
knew he was just testing you.
Yeah.
By the way, those pointy things on Shrapnel's. You said mandrills. Mandrills are like baboons that are like they're in the ape family. I think you meant mandibles.
Yes, I did mean mandibles. Thanks again for correcting me there. I was trying to sound smart and ended up sounding like a complete idiot. But yes, mandibles is the correct term. I didn't want to call them pinchers because that's stupid. So I tried to sound smart and really fucked it up. So, oh shit! There's my second one. Oh fuck! Fuck 3 4. Oh, now we're canceled.
There goes the streak.
We're just R-rated now.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, I'm just gonna shut up now.
Is pincers any better than pinchers? I mean, you could say pincers. That's. I mean, I don't know.
Look at you go, Charles. You're just
Yeah, he's using
left and
his
right
zoological
today.
degree.
Charles, why don't you take it and you tell me what you think of this Hearts of Steel design for the Insecta train, as they're calling it.
It's cool and interesting. I mean, I'd like to see what they look like separate, how they separate into robot mode and everything. I mean, but yeah, I mean, the Hearts of Steel was always interesting. It was a very an oddity that it was supposed to start off as like a series of of different eras of Transformers, but I would think at the time it probably didn't sell enough to justify the continuing miniseries. But I always thought it was interesting. I mean, the whole idea of what would happen if the Transformers woke up in the 19th century and were in the coal industrial age was it was an interesting idea, and kind of seeing all the bots imagined as steam engines and blimps and other kind of 19th century contraptions was always cool. And Guido Guidi's art, of course, was awesome. His designs for everything were great. So yeah, it's cool seeing the Insecticons rendered in this interesting design. I don't think it's interesting enough for me to want to buy it, but it's a cool design. I'm more interested in the Shockwave steamboat or whatever it was.
The submarine. I think it was a submarine. Yeah. That's and I think that was from Mastermind Creations. I think that was like the first thing they ever did. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it's a real early third party figure. So Yeah, it's it's cool, and it's huge too. So it's a really neat one. Jeremy, I know you're a big fan of trains. Do you like trains made out of bugs?
Not particularly. I mean, unless they're robotic bugs. I think that this looks really cool, but I'm not really into actually buying the Hearts of Steel designs. I mean, like Charles said, it's an oddity that, it had its place. I thought the story was like a neat Elseworlds what if type story, but it just doesn't have enough to grab me to make me want to just, spend however much it's going to cost to buy the toys. But, it looks neat. I'll be interested to follow this and see it in color, see the individual Insecticons and how they look. When I first saw this picture before I saw what it was, I was thinking that it was like a Hearts of Steel Unicron or something. Because the little mouth part at the front of the train just kind of has that resemblance to Unicron's maw. But yeah, I mean, I think this looks really fun. It's just not for me. But also the Shockwave was an ironclad steamship, not a submarine.
Oh, well,
I win again.
There's a correction for Jeremy on me. Mike, do you have something you can correct me on and make it a clean sweep?
Not right now. I'll come back to it in a few minutes, and we'll grab it on the next topic. Don't worry.
Well, what do you think of these?
So I have really mixed feelings about a lot of the Hearts of Steel designs. I love the concept. Wasn't the biggest fan of its execution. There are a lot of designs on here that I think are really amazing. Like we brought up the Shockwave Ironsides. That's really, really nice looking, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it quite a bit. I almost picked up the Masterminds figure a long time ago. I eventually passed on it just because there was different ones I was interested in, but it was certainly on the short list of things that I wanted to pick up. The Prime and Bumblebee trains are also great looking, but like the Seekers, like the bi/triplane Seekers, not really a fan of. This is another one that I'm not a big fan of. I love the concept, and I wish them all the success with it, but it doesn't look like a train to me. And maybe if they did something else with it, I might enjoy it a bit more. I don't really like the look of it. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot beyond that. It does raise the question a little bit as to why the Hearts of Steel design is coming back again. I mean, it's a book that is, 15, 20 years old at this point? I mean, this was really early IDW stuff, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Charles, am I right on that?
About 14, 15 years old. Couldn't be 20 years old because that was before IDW had the license.
Okay. Notice that, Daryl, that I didn't need an actual correction. It was just a confirmation there.
Well,
anyway.
I mean, I take the risk and actually throw numbers out, and then I fail. I'm willing to fail. I just at least I took a risk.
Okay.
There's no money on riding on any of this. just
That's what
you guys know.
Okay. As far as the stuff I do like about this, the centerpiece of the train actually is really interesting. The kind of skull motif on the part of the train that's like blocking the wheels. I don't know what that's called. That's interesting. The very Civil War era gun turret up there is actually really neat looking. But the front and backs, like, I don't know what it's supposed to be. So, yeah.
I mean, it's a train made of bugs, so...
I suppose in that respect, it looks like exactly what it's supposed to be. So, we'll go with that. Yeah, I'm not going to yuck anyone's yums about liking it or anything. It's just not for me. It's just, no. Yeah,
looking at the centerpiece, it definitely appears that Bombshell is the centerpiece with that gun turret, which would leave Kickback as the final piece in the back. But it's an interesting design. If you're into Hearts of Steel, then hey, you got another piece, and maybe the next 1 or 2 years you'll see something else. But like I said, it's something that just kind of it doesn't want to die, so that's cool enough for me. Every now and then we'll see something new coming from the Hearts of Steel universe. But that's it. That's all I've got to talk about this week. Jeremy, what do you got?
Well, starting off with a rumor, it is putting this in the doc. The rumor is that Hasbro is going to have a new collaborative figure. This comes from GameStop's pre-order system, where it says basically it's this Project Trooper 1, and it's $89.99. And someone on the TFW forums that has been accurate with some stuff in the past is saying that it's going to be a G.I. Joe collaborative figure. G.I. Joe is having their big 40th anniversary this year, and it would be a collaborative thing that Hasbro can do without getting anyone else's licensing, approvals. So it's an easy win for them. And this person on TFW, their username is JT Prime 17, say that it'll be announced on the G.I. Joe live stream that is happening tomorrow, Thursday, the 24th of February. So it'll be just one of those Hasbro Pulse live streams. So if that is announced, then we're on top of it, and we'll see what it is. But what do you guys think? We haven't really seen a G.I. Joe collaborative type figure outside of, there was some Fun Pub stuff that weren't really transforming figures. They either or they generally took a G.I. Joe figure and painted it to look like a Transformer. But then we had in Energon, there was a Snowcat character who transformed into a, I guess it was the Snowcat vehicle from G.I. Joe. That was essentially his alt mode. But we haven't really had a good actual transforming G.I. Joe Transformers crossover figure. So, Mike, let's start with you. What do you think this could be?
Well, I'm really hoping it is a G.I. Joe figure. And I'm thinking something, it's going to have to be small, or small-ish to fit the G.I. Joe figures correctly. Something like a tank, I don't see that happening. I mean, even for an $89 price point, I just don't see that happening. I'm thinking something like either the Awe Striker, like that little four-wheel dune buggy looking thing, or the I forget the name of it. It's that four-wheeled kind of desert camo kind of truck, like an armored car kind of truck with a 4 missile rack on the top of it. A Vamp, I think, or something like that. I don't know my G.I. Joe vehicles, but I'm thinking something like that. If it is,
I think that's
G.I. Joe.
What you're thinking of.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a Vamp now. I could see them. Let me get a picture here. I could see them taking a bulkhead figure and modding it into this Vamp, which is like an open air Jeep with a rocket launcher.
I hope they don't mod the bulkhead figure to it. No, I'm not the biggest fan of the bulkhead figure, and I don't think I would really enjoy it in this scheme. For $90, I'm hoping it's a new figure, and I'm hoping it's a bit better quality than that Jurassic Park Jeep we got. So, yeah. I think for $90, this shouldn't be a repaint or just a simple remold. I think this should be something new. Also, the VTOL, the like that green thing with the two engines and the skids that it can land on. I forget what that's called too. I don't know my G.I. Joe vehicle, so
yeah,
this is a poor question for me.
Way out of that.
But yeah, that's what I'm thinking, and that's kind of what I'm hoping. Now, pie in the sky, like big dreams here. I'm hoping that this is actually a crossover with the movie Super Troopers, and they're going to make the police car from it. I'd totally buy that for $90.
I still have not seen Super Troopers. So I'll take your word for it that it'll be a cool thing. All right, Daryl, I see you're eager to correct me in the Discord, so go ahead.
I do have a correction because there has been a crossover figure already that it was released in the main line, and it was recent. It was Combiner Wars, and they released that Power Glide repaint as Viper, and although it is not officially a G.I. Joe figure, everyone knows that it's a G.I. Joe figure. I kind of am in the same boat as Mike, where I don't know a lot of GI Joe vehicles to kind of like name them off the top of my head as to what they're what they're called. But when I hear people talking about it being a Transformers and GI Joe crossover, I kind of want to yawn, because it's such a safe crossover to do. We've gotten Ghostbusters and Back to the Future and Jurassic Park. I mean, these are crazy crossovers that like you never would have seen before. Like, just these are nutso properties that you wouldn't have put together with Transformers, and G.I. Joe and Transformers have been together since the very beginning. And to say, okay, let's do a crossover vehicle with them. All right. It's the one everyone knew you'd do, but oh my God, I'm so bored of that idea. So yeah, if it's a G.I. Joe vehicle, great. If it's, I mean, they've got the Top Gun, jet that could be remolded or repainted into Sky Striker, because it's the F-14 Tomcat. They're both the exact same jet.
That would be lazy and
super
not
lazy.
worth like $90.
Like choosing a G.I. Joe to do a crossover lazy. But I mean, there's a lot of other options to that they could use. I mean, I like the whale, the G.I. Joe Killer Whale as an option, because I just love that vehicle. It's the only G.I. Joe thing I actually own, because it's just such a cool vehicle. So, I mean, they could use the old Generation Sea Spray, that big Voyager Sea Spray mold, if they wanted to bring that old sucker back and paint it up like a whale and use that. There was a BotCon use of that, and I think they might have even tried to do it like that. But yeah, I don't know. Just if it is a G.I. Joe crossover, it doesn't get me excited. I'll just say that.
Yeah. And I mean, especially after they got your hopes up by getting your input, and you gave them.
I know, right? Like I started this whole thing.
Knight Rider, stuff like that.
Yeah.
A slight correction for you, Daryl. Since the Viper figure wasn't actually officially a G.I. Joe collaboration, you can't count it.
I said it wasn't officially, but everyone knows that it is. So.
All right. Well, Charles, do you have any love for a G.I. Joe crossover collaboration figure?
I mean, I think it's an idea that they should have come up with it a long time ago. I mean, I know we do have the Viper, and they put a little Cobra symbol on it, so you could tell that it's that they're hinting at that. But yeah, I mean, I thought they should. This seems like a very easy thing to do, is to do a crossover with these two properties, since they own both of them. I mean, maybe the engineering is that they wanted to have a toy that both transforms and can fit the 2.5-inch G.I. Joe figures. If that's the case, then that might explain this $90 price point, because it probably has to be a little bit bigger to put the G.I. Joe figures in it. So in that case, I mean, I guess the Mike's Jeep idea, I think, gets a little bit more credibility, because I can see that as being a vehicle that you could easily put little characters in. So but I mean, I don't have a particular affinity for any of the G.I. Joe vehicles, so I mean, I'd be happy to see what it is, whatever it is. I'd just be curious, and if they actually do want to make it something that can interact with both the G.I. Joe figures and the Transformers, that would be cool.
See, what I don't understand is Hasbro has kind of done this before a bit with the Human Alliance stuff from the movie. I mean, they made transforming figures that came with, like little small human companion pieces. Mm-hmm. And granted, the scale for the humans were smaller than a G.I. Joe. But, I mean, the engineering is already there. And they did it for $20, $25 back in the day. I can't imagine they would have a really difficult time making a G.I. Joe figure, a G.I. Joe vehicle that can hold the G.I. Joe figures that can transform.
We'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. And if they announce it tomorrow, then we'll be talking about it next week. One other thing I wanted to talk about is a toy from Newage Toys. This is images of their H13B Michael, which is their legend-scaled shattered glass Starscream. This is just a redeco of their Lucifer figure, but in the red and white shattered glass colors. And I just wanted to bring it up because I think they've done a really good job with this. The colors just look really good on it. So I'm sure we've talked about the Lucifer figure before, but it just I want to just bring it up since shattered glass, is kind of in the in people's minds right now because of the recent figures and stuff. But I don't know. I think they did a great job with the coloring on this figure. So any of you guys have any thoughts on this figure?
I mean, I have the first three. I have the Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp, and the design of this mold. Pick whatever color palette you want, but the way that they engineered this figure is genius. So I would highly recommend that if you're interested in Seekers at all, you figure out a way to get one of these just to experience the engineering. Like, if you can look at the chest of this Starscream figure, the blue cockpit is the plain cockpit, but then the left and right sides of the chest actually fold underneath of that to become the bottom part of the nose cone. That it just when I saw that that's how that worked the first time, it blew my mind that they actually thought of that. It's a wild idea, and it was really cool. So the engineering of this is completely different than any other Starscream figure, any other Seeker figure we've gotten before, and it's in legend scale, which is nuts. So
you don't see a lot of that engineering pioneered at the small scale.
No. So, when you get these guys into their alt modes, it's super clean and they look great. So, yeah, man, pick your color palette. They've got enough of them. So pick your color palette and then just enjoy it because it looks really great.
Awesome. Charles, Mike, do either of you have any comments? I mean, Mike, this is your namesake.
I think it's really telling that when you repaint Lucifer, you get Michael.
Oh, yeah, I guess angels. I didn't even put that together.
I'm not a big collector of the Legends scale stuff, so it's going to be a pass for me, but I will say that out of all of the potential color schemes for a Seeker mold like this, I actually really do like the Shattered Glass Starscream. The stark white with like the red highlights and everything actually is really, really cool looking. If I were to pick up just one of these, like Daryl said, this actually is a really good contender for that. I mean, I have enough normal or regular Seekers to have, I'm fine with them. I don't need any more. But like I said, the color scheme on this one is really, really enjoyable, and I do really like the look of it.
Awesome. Charles, you have any thoughts?
Seekers are great. I mean, this if I'm taking Daryl at his word, I think it's a really well done engineered Seeker. I'm still not a fan of the Shattered Glass. It's nice to have this color palette as an option, but if I had to pick, I would get the normal Starscream colors. Probably, I would probably pass on the Shattered Glass version. Although the colors do look very nice. The red and the white and the blue cockpit look really good. It reminds me a lot of Jetfire. Like the good Starscream is just Jetfire, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is everything I got this week. Mike, what do you have?
I am talking about some sexy anime girls today. So the Kotobukiya Bishoujo series, and I probably mispronounced that horribly, so forgive me, is releasing 2 figures, an Optimus Prime and a Megatron, done up as anime girls. Now, before we actually talk about what these figures look like, or I should say what these statues look like, just a quick little aside to start with. The Bishoujo series is it takes various properties from all over the world and turns them into anime girl statues. It doesn't matter what the context is. They'll take G.I. Joe figures, they'll take My Little Pony figures, they'll take Transformers, and they'll turn it into anime girls. That's their thing. That's what they do. If you don't like that, this is not for you. So there's a very niche market and a very targeted market when it comes to this. So I'm going to offer my comments on that with that understanding that this is the entire point of that company. Like it or hate it, that's exactly what they do. That being said, we got two figures up here. We got the Prime and the Megatron. Mostly artwork for the... Actually, I'm sorry, only artwork for the Megatron. We don't actually see any sculpts or anything for her yet. But we do see a lot of artwork for the Prime, along with the first gray prototypes for it. And as far as a transition from an Optimus Prime figure into an anime girl figure, this is, it is decent looking. Red coat, blue hair, blue boots. There's no real big surprises, I think. It's a decent looking figure. The parts that I do kind of enjoy is the Matrix necklace that she's got going on. That's kind of neat. And the like trailer briefcase looking thing she's got going on, and that's actually really, really interesting. So yeah, let's throw it over to Daryl. What do you think? Is this something that you'd be interested in picking up?
No, these are not my style. They're well crafted. I'll give them that. I mean, obviously, if this is this company's sole product, like this is what they do, then they obviously do it very well. As I'm not going to judge this on what it is or what it what it any meaning behind it or anything like that. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's constructed incredibly well. The I look at it. The Matrix necklace is very cool. The goggles on the head, kind of resemble Prime's helmet. And the briefcase, the Prime trailer briefcase is very cool. I do like the two wheels on the boots, although if I'm thinking about the functionality of boots, that's stupid. But it looks very cool. Like, the jacket she's got on looks like it's, loose fitting, which is crazy in a statue. So, that's kind of interesting that they've done that. It's a very cool looking, statue. The Megatron one, I like the idea of the jacket being a cape, and her holding the fusion cannon. Although it's ridiculous. That thing would be so heavy, but not practical to carry around at all. For any normal person. But they're very cool looking designs, and if you're interested in them, then fantastic. I'm glad that this company is doing Transformers. If it doesn't sound like they've done them before, but it's neat. Yeah.
How about you, Charles? What do you think? Because we know you're the biggest statue collector on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean this is a hard pass for me. No pun intended. I mean this is something that I kind of just don't really get. I guess I just don't really get the appeal. But for those who like it, these I do like the amount of detail they pay to taking the all the features on the bots and putting those touches into the outfits of these ladies here is good. Like you mentioned the necklace, the Matrix necklace. Also, her belt buckle is is Prime's torso in in his robot mode, and the windows on the truck or on her jacket, and the briefcase trailer. It's all really cool. I mean, it's cool to reimagine all these little bits here. It's just, I mean, I don't like this. For me, it's like this is something that, you're like someone does for an art project or does just on a whim, and it's kind of weird that this turned into a whole like line of statues that people collect, which I mean I have no room to make fun of anyone else's collecting habits when we've got all these bits of plastic transforming robots in our houses. But yeah, these collecting all these statues of anime girls is, I don't know, I don't see the appeal, but enjoy, I guess. Megatron is very interesting with with her giant fusion cannon. That I don't understand how she's holding that up. And it's just I'm curious to see how the Megatron statue actually comes out, because her outfit seems less able to be like made into a physical statue that would it seems like you're sculpting a lot of like garments that are supposed to be flowing in the wind or something, and I wonder how that comes out. But it's interesting. I mean, it's definitely a curiosity for me, but not something I'm into.
How about yourself, Jeremy?
Like everyone else here, this is not an area of my collection, but I really think that they've done a good job in terms of translating the characters to this style in a way that doesn't seem as troublesome as we've seen before with some of the other things like the Windblade figure was originally, and we've seen other kind of anime girl statues. I think this is where they're like making a lot of creative choices. I really like what they're doing, like with the jacket. I would like, like a male version of an Optimus Prime jacket, kind of like that. I think that'd be fun.
That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think I guarantee within a couple of years, we're going to see cosplayers replicating these designs, at conventions. It just seems like very, like a lot of the things make sense in terms of how they're translating the design to, a real world garment. The briefcase thing I think is amazing. I want one of those just to have. I think that would be something really cool. I like the Matrix necklace. I mean, we've seen that before on other figures, like the hot rod that came with it and stuff. But I think that's neat. And the Megatron, I think we'll wait to see that actually sculpted. But I think it looks really cool. And Daryl, that's not a cape; it's a trench coat that she's just wearing on her shoulders.
That's what I said. I said she's wearing her coat as a cape.
Oh, okay. I just heard you say it as a cape.
Is everyone trying to correct me today? Oh my god.
We're not trying to correct you. We are correcting you.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway, I think this looks like a lot of fun for people that do collect these figures or these statues. I can see that it being very popular. For me, it's just a more kind of admiration of the design style and the sculpting that goes into these, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it will translate to cosplay in the future, because I'm so convinced that that's going to happen.
To be honest, I think you're being very generous when you say a couple of years. If people aren't working on cosplay of this right now, I'd be incredibly surprised.
Yeah, that's probably true. As soon as the designs came up, I'm sure people just started thinking, oh, hey, I see exactly how I can do that.
Especially the Megatron, because it doesn't look like there's anything especially unique about the clothing design on her. Mm-hmm. Whereas with the Prime, like the boots and the coat really do feel like, and the goggles really do feel very custom.
I mean, the goggles, I have some like 3D movie Optimus Prime like goggles from a few years ago when 3D movies were a thing that could easily be customized to something like this. But, with cosplayers' skills with things like the foam and stuff that they do, it wouldn't surprise me to see a spot-on version of any of this.
Yep. All right, two quick last things before I toss it over to you, Charles. The design on Megatron it does seem like it's very reminiscent of the IDW like holomatter avatar design for Megatron. There's a lot of those similar kind of like beats to it. The trench coats like hanging like over the shoulders like a cape, like Daryl said. The kind of gray, like the gray tie on black. I mean, I know that's his color scheme, but the white hair on the figure, it's very, very reminiscent on the IDW holomatter designs, and that's kind of cool. And the last thing is that even though we don't have a price announced on these ones, typical statues from this company go anywhere from 12,000 yen to 16,000 yen. So that's going to be around 120 to 160 US, depending on complexity and scale. I imagine the Megatron would probably be a little bit pricier because of that massive cannon and the extra stuff from the trench coat. So if you are interested in it, that's the amount you need to set aside. And if these two figures are successful, we'll probably get some other figures as well. Probably a Starscream, a Bumblebee, Soundwave, Grimlock, who knows. So, yeah. Well, that's it for me. Charles, why don't you go ahead and bring us home?
All right. Well, in addition to statues, I'm also a fan of tiny legend-sized figures. And we've got some Mech Fans Toys Hot Rod. So this is a redeco of one of their, this is from Mech Fans Toys MS-21 Flame Walker, and they scaled it down to a legend scale figure, and they've got one version called Fireflow, which is kind of the G1 Transformers the movie 86 movie colors, and then Revolt, which is I guess that's a shattered glass black and purple colors for Hot Rod. So, and this figure comes with some accessories. He's got his two guns from the G1 figure. He's got the fishing pole from the movie. He's got the little visor in his head that comes down. And it looks good. I mean, the one thing that bothers me is the car mode looks a little like elongated, stretched out. There's like a little gap there between the engine block and the flames on the front of the hood. Like that gap just bothers me. But other than that, it looks like a really good figure, and it is the legend scaled size means you're getting a lot of articulation in a tiny package here, and I give a little bit extra points for that. And it looks like this is not a faux chest situation where the hood of the car is actually Hot Rod's chest, like the cartoon and like the original toy. So also some points for that. But yeah, so Daryl, what do you think of this new Hot Rod figure?
Well, I think it looks pretty cool. They've this company has had one in the previous incarnation of their company, and it looks pretty good. This one is a step up. I like what they've done with both iterations of it. Never was a big fan of the Nemesis Hot Rod or whatever you want to call them. I mean the
Rodimus Unicronus.
Yeah, I never really was a huge fan of that. Although
let's not speak that name again.
Yeah. But the regular one, he looks nice. All the lines are really clear and smooth, and his transformation appears to be pretty straightforward. So yeah, he's cool. I mean, for the scale, not a lot of the other companies have really done Rodimus yet. So if you're looking for a G1 Rodimus, then I guess you're going to Mech Fans Toys.
One thing they didn't do is they didn't give the black one a goatee. They should have done that.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to say that. Damn it, Charles.
Although, did the Hot Rod portion of him have the goatee, or was it the combined version of him that had the goatee? Or was it both?
No, I thought it was both, but I don't remember.
Could have been both. I'm not 100%.
Well, Mike, I'm sorry I stole your thunder, but what do you think of this figure?
I'm going to take my thunder back. I like the design. It's actually a really neat figure. That yellow section on its chest where the flames are is just begging for like a Toy Hacks Autobot logo. It really is. I love the two separate guns. I really do like it when Hot Rod figures have that. That's super neat. Yeah, I mean, it's just a really neat looking figure. I love the accessories. I love the little fishing pole on there. That's cool. Like you said, Charles, with the goatee, I wish the alternate face would have come for the Nemesis version came with the goatee. I think that would have just, it's that final like little small detail that would have just went, perfect. But yeah, I mean, it's a really solid, really neat figure, and I don't really see any flaws or anything with it. So yeah, I like it. I approve. Mechanic Toys, you can go ahead and ship it. I say it's good.
All right, we got the go-ahead from Mike. Jeremy, what did you think of this figure?
Well, Mike gave his go-ahead, so I don't know if I even need to say anything. Seems like that was the final word. But I think these look good. I do think it comes with a second head, because the one with the visor seems to have a different facial expression. So, I mean, the description didn't mention extra heads, but it clearly is a different expression.
Do you think it's a new head or just a changed out faceplate?
Oh, it could be a faceplate. It just means the facial expression is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's really cool, though. I'm wondering if he would be able to do the whole cross-legged sitting down with the fishing pole. That seems to be a test now with these figures when they come with the fishing pole. But I think it's really cool. It's going to have some competition with that new Legend Scale official hot rod that came out. If you're looking for a hot rod, you'll be able to get one for much cheaper than what this will come out with. But if you're wanting probably more articulation and stuff, I think these look really cool. The Revolt isn't really doing it for me in terms of the colors. I mean, the black and purple usually go together, but I think I just have so much of that Combiner Wars series just stuck in my head that I can never accept this figure. I need that to just kind of flush out of my system.
All right, well, that's all our toy topics, so we will move on to trips to the store. This is where we show off all the awesome Transformers stuff we got this week. We do this as a video so you can see everything we got in beautiful high definition on our YouTube channel. We'll have the audio right here in the podcast so you can keep listening as we describe everything we got in loving detail. So without further ado, trips to the store.
The Transmissions Podcast will return after these messages.
All right, let's talk about the stuff we got this week, and I'm going to go first because I don't have a lot. I did pick up Transformers number 40 from my comic shop. This week in alt mode, we're reviewing Transformers number 39, so we'll probably be reviewing this in a little while, but here's Transformers number 40. The cover really does not have anything to do with the story that actually happens in the book, but that happens sometimes. Yeah.
Who is the artist?
I believe this is it's Angel Hernandez. Angel Hernandez is the artist. I did recognize that. And yeah, that's Bumblebee getting eaten by rustworms or attacked by rustworms. That does not happen in this comic. It might happen in the future in a few issues, but it doesn't happen in this issue. So that's all. Something non-Transformers, but I'm very excited about it. I got Horizon Forbidden West, just came out this week. This is the PlayStation 4 version because you get a free upgrade for the PlayStation 5 version. So they charge you $10 extra for the PlayStation 5 version, but if you just get the PS4 version, it comes with a free upgrade. So I don't know why they charge you an extra $10 for the PS5 version. So that you buy the PS5 version, you can't play the PS4 version, and it's $10 extra. So I don't know why you would buy that version, but I got it. It's awesome. I'm playing it on my PS5. You're lucky I'm on the show tonight because I really would rather be playing this right now.
Oh, well, thanks. We love you too, Charles.
But it's a cool game. If anyone who's played Horizon Zero Dawn, this is the sequel. It's awesome.
If Charles isn't paying attention during the show, then you know what he's doing.
He's left. Yeah.
It's not Transformers, but there are robot machines, animal machines in it. So it's lots of robots, lots of AI things and stuff. So adjacent, Transformers adjacent, maybe. I'm getting the no. I'm getting the no sign. All right, that's all I got. Jeremy, I'll pass it over to you.
Unlike you, I have actual Transformer to show off. I got in my last one of the Golden Disc collection. So if you can see that above me, I have all 4 boxes forming the Golden Disc.
That does look really neat.
It does. And that is the actual way the Golden Disc looks that's on the Voyager probe. And the one I got today was Pterosaur, which came with the actual Golden Disc, which one side looks like the record. And I don't know if I can get that to focus, but it actually does say the Sounds of Earth on it.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow. Neat.
That's cool.
Like the actual one, which it's not going to focus. But the other side has the designs of the disc in Beast Wars that the Vok put on there. So whereas the box shows what the actual Voyager disc looks like, this one is more show accurate. But I think it's really cool, and I was not expecting them to actually put the Sounds of Earth on that side. As a NASA space nut, I really think that's cool. Pterosaur, on the other hand, here is the figure. I think he looks good in both modes, but pieces just kept popping off as I was transforming it and setting it up. Well, one thing, these 2 little spikes on his arm are, if you haven't seen, like I've retweeted, I think from the podcast account, Ben Yee posting about the, in the box, there's this, on the back, there's this little piece of paper that has these 2 pieces wrapped up. They are just, and that's one of the pieces that pops off that I'll talk about. It's just these little pieces. They're wrapped up in a little piece of paper, and if you didn't know that it was there, you would have just left that piece of paper in there and possibly thrown it away if you throw it in the box.
That's unfortunate.
So that's just something to be aware of. Comes with a gun. It's nice looking. This wing has been it popped off as I was pulling the figure out of the box. It's a
great
the other
sign
one is
right
on
there.
fine, but this one, you look at it wrong and it pops off. And that's very annoying. The pterosaur head, it pops off pretty easily. It's just, in the midst of manipulating it when you're transforming it. Very annoying, when figures do that. The other than that, I mean, it's okay. I always tend to have an issue with some of these that are just smaller arms and stuff, just manipulating them because my fingers are large. But I mean, other than that, it's fine. He stands up fine. No issues with him falling over. But once I have him on the shelf, I guarantee I'll look over one day and this wing will be popped off with no one touching him. So I don't know. If it wasn't completing the set, I probably wouldn't have picked him up. But I had actually forgotten that I had ordered all 4. I thought I got him because I really wanted the disc, but I ended up getting all 4, and the boxes do look really good all put together like that. Although, if you look, one of them is smaller. I wish that they would have found a reason to make the top, one of the top ones bigger so it lined up even. But, what can you do? But that's all I got this week. Beast War.
Cool. Yeah, that's unfortunate that I guess there's some quality control issues for that pterosaur.
Yeah.
That's sad.
But the other one, like I'm putting pressure on it and it will not pop out at all. But this one, barely any pressure at all.
Well, all right, Mike, you're up next.
God, Jeremy, I didn't notice that the boxes for that collection were not the right size, and now I can't unsee that, and it is killing my OCD right now.
Yeah.
That's sad. All right, so I have a couple of gaming things to show off today. So, a few months back, I showed off the Transformers deck building game that came in from Renegade Games. Now, what I might not have mentioned at the time was that I had pre-ordered it back, I think, in like last July or August, and I was like in the early rounds of the pre-orders. If you pre-ordered it, you would have gotten a couple of extra promo cards that they're not going to publish, or they say they're not going to publish in the future. Well, Fast forward to November when they were shipping all of them out. And the promo packs were supposed to go out along with the rest of the game to all the people who pre-ordered. They didn't. Because I guess Diamond was having an issue or some problem during one of their like DDoS attacks. And instead of sending out one pack of promos to everyone who pre-ordered it, they instead sent out one case of promo packs to each person who pre-ordered it. As you can imagine, the supply of pre-order packs went down dramatically fast. But they sent out this email afterwards saying, hey, don't worry, we're going to get you your packs. All of our fans are super cool, and they'll go ahead and ship back all the packs that they don't need, that they didn't order. Well, thankfully they were right, because people did. And awesome. I got my promo pack last month that has the Jazz card in it, along with a couple of other like little action cards that go with it. So several months later, I did get the promo cards for it, and yeah, it was really cool. I enjoyed that. I haven't actually had a chance to play the game with anyone yet, so I can't speak about the game itself. But I am glad that I at least got the pre-order that I had that I wanted. So
I remember when you talked about it when it first happened, and you were not optimistic that you would get that at all.
Yeah, I wasn't. Honestly, I probably should. I know like a bunch of people in the Transformers fandom now that I help out the podcast and everything. So, and everyone is, they're pretty solid people. Like, I haven't encountered anyone that I actively dislike in the fandom. So I think I probably should have been a little bit more optimistic about my chances on that. Because I think in the end, people really will do the right thing. It's just when circumstances kind of hit and people don't. So yeah, I mean, I think I should have been a bit more optimistic about that.
I wouldn't have shipped it back to you.
Hey, I guess it all depends where you live, right? The other thing I got is this beast of a game. I need to pull back for this. There we go. So this is a game called Core Clash, and I backed the Kickstarter for this thing. I want to say like 2 years ago or something like that. It was quite a while, and over many delays, the game finally did get made and shipped. And the reason that I had backed it was because a lot of the minis in this game are loosely based on Transformers characters. Now you can kind of see, if I can get the glare off of this, you can kind of see the artwork here. That is very reminiscent of Dreamwave era Grimlock, with like the big shoulder cannons on his arm.
Yeah.
There is a kind of like loosely based like Optimus Prime figure. There is a Predaking, and there is I'm actually not certain of the era of this Megatron. It kind of feels IDW-esque, but I really can't place it. I think it's just generic enough that there's a difference, and I'm not hitting like seeing where the design like influence came from. So
it reminds me a little bit of Stealth Bomber Megatron and maybe War for Cybertron video game Megatron.
Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, they did a figure that's reminiscent of Alpha Trion. They did a Rack and Ruin, a Bumblebee, a Shockwave. And again, like these aren't official, figures or anything like that. These aren't official minis or an official game by any stretch. But the big reason I backed it was because like these minis actually look, pretty good, and actually they hit that itch. I don't have any of the minis assembled yet, so I probably will show them off once I actually get them assembled and painted, because everything is unassembled on this, and everything needs some paint to it. But yeah, that's what I picked up for it. It's a
closer than Charles's game.
I know, right? But yeah, it's a really interesting looking game. I do look forward to getting it out and playing it once I get all the assembly and painting done. And I'll have to take some photos and kind of show it off. Yeah. I do get one other thing, completely not Transformers related. I don't have it in front of me, but you'll have to just trust me when I say I got it. I got Pokemon Legends last month, and it is amazing. And it's a game that I would also love to be playing right now instead of casting.
There's a little Pikachu Daryl's got.
Unlike Charles, though, I can pop up on my Switch and be playing that while I'm casting. There we go. All right, that's
You got
all
me.
I got.
You got me there, Mike. You got me there. All right, our final visit to the trips to the store comes from Daryl. Show us what you got.
Well, I had a box come in this week that I'd been waiting on for some time, and I was very happy to receive it because this box that arrived contained my cap, and this is my Fans Hobby hose head, and I adore this figure. It's gorgeous, super articulated, rubber wheels. He's really awesome, really ingenious design. I decided I was going to try and tackle him without looking at the instructions, and I did it. So I was pretty happy with that. So, if I can do it, and I'm an idiot, if I can do it, you can do it. So yeah, it's a pretty, straightforward design on him. I thought it's pretty cool. The chest does reveal a very small little power, stats. They're attached to the door, like the little chest door, not to the head. So yeah, he's a great figure. Like I said, fully articulated. He's got a waist swivel, and all kinds of goodies. He's great. He's great. So a great price on him too. I think he was $80. So a really, really awesome figure for the amount of money you're spending on him. So yeah, if you're interested in the Headmaster Juniors, these Fans Hobby guys are doing great work. The other ones I got this week were ones that I also was very much looking forward to. This first one that I have here is in robot mode because I wanted to show him off. This is Moon Studios Iceland. So
Wow.
Damn, son.
So he's massive. And I've got him in robot mode here because I did also get the Dark Knight. Yeah, that's the name they gave him. So the Getsui and whatever the real name of this guy is, but they're essentially the same figure. So I've transformed them both back and forth. The transformation is fairly similar, except Iceland here has a bit of a nose on him for his train mode, and the Dark Knight figure does not. He's a flat nose. So yeah, he's a great looking figures. Very highly articulated. These thighs on him, they're die cast. This guy's heavy. Like, he's quite heavy. Now, obviously, this is a leg of this Radiatron, so you expect that he's going to be, fairly heavy, and you want him to be heavy for the feet of Radiatron. But that brings in the other figure that I have, this Getsui, this Dark Knight figure, who I left in foot mode, and just absolutely massive. I am super impressed with the way that these guys look. And I can't wait to see the size that this Radiatron gets to. Great articulation on this. It turns and it's got all kinds of crazy crap it can do. You can get it to go back. You're getting the full waist joint on the figure as the ankle joint. And it really is. It's quite impressive. So it gets you the big ass gun for the foot, which I still don't really know the point of it, but it's there and it does its thing. I can confirm now that I do own the figures; they're in my possession. The lights on the trains do not work; they do not light up. But they do go through to the other side. So you could put some LEDs behind there if you had some that were small enough. But they are not functioning at this point. But I am absolutely in love with these figures. They are awesome. They are heavy as hell. And I can't wait to get the rest of these. The unfortunate part is that we don't know when the rest are coming out right now. So we're just kind of in a holding pattern. But yeah, I've got a couple of train bots right now. They are absolutely massive. And I got another Headmaster Jr., which, man, the color on this guy just pops. So yeah, I'm a happy camper right now. Yeah.
Awesome.
And that's it for this week's Trips to the Store.
We now return to the Transmissions Podcast.
We're back from our trips to the store, and that will do it for this episode of Transmissions. Mike, thanks for joining us this week, and why don't you tell everyone where they can find your stuff online, including the awesome Empire of Rust, our Transformers Live Play RPG podcast.
Well, thank you for having me back. Every month I come on this show and do my damnedest to try and get thrown off the podcast, but each time you keep on inviting me back, so I'm either doing something right or completely wrong.
It's reverse psychology. We know you want to get thrown off, so we just keep bringing you back.
Like that guy on what's the show on MASH?
Yeah. Yeah, dress up like a woman and we're going to keep you in the army anyway.
Yeah. All right, that makes perfect sense. Maybe if I do my job really well, I'll get thrown off that way. Promoted into to obscurity. Promoted till I'm obsolete. I get it. All right, yes. So I host and edit and run the Transformers RPG podcast Empire of Rust, hosted right here on the Transmissions Network. Although you've already heard me talk about that, so I'm sure you know where it is. If you haven't listened to it, give it a listen. You know what? We just had season 2 start a couple episodes ago. If you're worried about like too many episodes in a backlog, I get it. I totally get it. I've started a podcast, seen like 200 episodes in the queue. It's like, ooh, no, not going to do that. But easy enough. There's about, 10, 12 episodes in season 2. Very easily catch-upable. So do it. Dig it. Give it a listen. Try it out. I'm sure you'll like it. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Minervion, Minervion, and you can also give me a follow on Instagram, where I, truth be told, I haven't posted photos in quite a while, but I am hoping that in the next month or two I can actually get back to it. I got a bit of a backlog that I can add to it that I haven't posted yet. So, yeah. Those are my deets.
All right. And yeah, check out Empire of Rust at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. And that takes us to the end. But of course, before we go, we give a shout out to our masterpiece donatrons. So thank you again to John 4X Levengood, Dinobot Maximize, Demon Tech 82, and Curtis Akan. You guys are awesome. Thank you for continuing to support the podcast at our highest level. And that's it for this episode of Transmissions. Thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, all.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.